I know that sometimes, or a lot of times, we simply can't help but live in fear. In fear of anything or everything, in fear of what might happen, in fear of that thing that we're so afraid of actually manifesting in our outer reality, in fear of what step should I take next? Is this the right step? Should I go for this? Should I go for that? What are the consequences if I do this? What are the consequences if I don't do this? And sometimes we simply cannot help but actually be in fear and start worrying and stressing and having all of this anxiety and even turning into depression, because we are so crippled by the most crippling frequency of all, which is fear, because it's affecting us. Fear affects us on a very, very deeper level than we actually imagine, because it has to do with survival. You prevent yourself both psychologically and energetically, more so, to get out of your den, to get out of your cave, to get out of your, because what does that kind of reality holds for you is possible threats, possible, predators, and you're seeing yourself as the prey. And so sometimes it's just not helpable that we don't live in fear, that we are living in fear. You can't help but live in fear of what might happen in our reality. But once you come to the realization, once you actually understand that life is working for you, life is rather happening for you and not to you, that life is working for you and not against you, all of that fear dissolves. It finds its way through, and it heals its blockages, and it heals through itself, and it dissolves. But simply you have to come to this understanding. You have to see it for yourself, or if you can't, just make yourself believe it, if that's the type of person you are. To me, I've had to learn that to understand it, to see it, to realize it the hard way. Or rather, not the hard way, but there isn't an easy or a hard way, but rather just the long way, because I come from a very critical, cynical, intellectual, analytical background, and that simply could not make me, that prevented me from actually believing in that, for seeing it for its truth, without actually, all of the setbacks, all of the drops, all of the falls, all of the down times and the up times, seeing the contrast, analyzing the differences, seeing why, observing closely my life, whether it's through shadow work, through simply observing your life, through introspection, through retrospection. I've had to go through that, and I had to take several steps back, and some forward, and some backwards, and some forward, until I came to this realization. And the problem is that this fear is actually what could be preventing you from whatever you seek in your life, whatever reality you envision for yourself, whatever future you hold in your mind for yourself. Because once you understand that life is working for you, that means that everything that's happening in life actually serves your greater intention, serves whatever grand intention you hold for your future. You have one main thing in your head for your future, this whole vision, this whole thing you're imagining, this whole thing you're so deeply seeking. That's your grand intention. With what purpose it serves, of course, with how much of help it's gonna be for others, of how much you're going to spread positivity, of how much you're gonna benefit others. Whenever it's in service for others, that is your grand intention. Or whenever it's just something that makes you melt, something that makes you, once just imagining it, makes you fall in love with life again, fall in love with yourself, remember who you truly are. It makes you feel empowered, and it gives you confidence, it gives you hope for the future, and it gives you faith. That is your grand intention. And whatever is happening in life, all of those small things, all of those setbacks, all of those steps backwards and forward, those are actually serving that purpose, are actually taking you toward that purpose. And so, to that, whatever future you envision, to living your dream reality, you hold so many blockages between you and that reality that are preventing you, blockages that prevent you from actually being able to embrace, to live that reality you envision for yourself. Because if you didn't have any blockages between you and that reality and that set vision, you would already be there, because that's who we are. We are simply the creators of our own reality. Your outer reality is simply a reflection of your inner world, whatever you are experiencing. And what do you experience when you're living in constant fear? What do you experience when you choose to live in survival? It's the distrust, it's the frequency of distrust, it's the frequency of not even believing in your vision, not even, because think about your vision. Try when you're feeling happy or good or loving and joyful and peaceful, try thinking about this future, about this grand intention. You start feeling that it's possible, it's so doable. Oh my god, I'm gonna get there, I'm surely gonna get there, because it's empowering, because you're in your essence, you are in your element, in your joyful, truthful state. But when you are in fear, when you're living in fear and stress and anxiety, and which could turn into depression even, of what the future might hold, of how crippled I am, of how afraid of I am to take another step into this world, because I don't know, what do I want, what's gonna happen, should I trust in this, should I go for that, should I, are my enemies going against me, are the people, is everyone up to get me, Whenever you're living in that frequency, you are intentionally saying that you are resonant, you are vibrating on a resonant frequency of that, and of course you are vibrating on the frequency of fear, but you're also vibrating on the frequency of what this fear, of what you are fearing, of what this fear produces regarding, and that which is, that's not gonna happen, things are not gonna go my way, things are gonna go absolutely against me, my life is gonna be so messed up and I'm so afraid, and that's what you are vibrating on, that's what you are a vibrational match to. And you cannot imagine, you cannot think that things are gonna go according to your set vision. And now you are even thinking, when you're living in that fear and that stress and that anxiety and that worrisome and that depression, when you even imagine your grand intention, it's gonna seem hopeless. You're gonna feel as if there's no way I could do that. This is so far-fetched, that there's so much distance between me and that point I'm trying to get to. And so it cannot happen, and that's how it's crippling. And and you affirm it to yourself. Your body knows it is what's being fed through your subconscious, into your subconscious, through your subconscious, to your higher self, to your soul, to your essence, to your energy field, to your magnetic field in your heart. That's what you're actually experiencing, because that's how crippling fear actually is. But when you're joyful, you're able to believe in it, you're able to trust in it, and that's your biggest indication that your fear of the future, your fear, your distrust, your fear is saying that I'm unfulfilled by my current reality, that I'm distrusting my current reality, and as such also the future. And I've noticed that very clearly in my life. Every time, even in small steps, even in everything, because the more aware you become of it, the more it actually becomes your reality. So the higher you are on your purpose, on your journey of awareness or towards enlightenment, the further you are on that journey, the easier your inner world manifests into the outer world. The easier, the more so it happens that your external reality becomes a reflection of your internal reality. The more aware you are, the higher you are on your awareness journey, the further you are on it, that becomes more so your reality. And so it could happen so fast, you could start manifesting things so quickly, simple things. If I'm even recording a video and I'm not in fear with anything that has to do with the video or with me posting or with me not making it on YouTube or as a creator, but with something else, I'm just struggling with something else, I'm in fear of that thing actually happening or not happening, and it doesn't even has to do with my grand intention or with my purpose, because I've made peace, I've made it a truth within me that I'm one way or another, I'm already a resonant frequency with the future I seek, with my grand intention. So that's not something I'm gonna worry about now. But with other things, whenever I'm just in fear in general, I see that, the video I recorded is not something I feel bad about it after I recorded, and it's not something I miss out a couple of points and I miss out a couple of key factors, and then, I post it and I'm not even in the mood to do that, and so I cannot put enough effort, I just choose any title and perhaps it's not the right title, it's not the right message, it's not the right title to portray the right message that the video actually portrays, and all in all it ends up, not doing that well. It does not get lots of attention, it does not reach to that many people, and that simply happens all the time, all the time. And that's just one example, and I have 10 other examples, 100 of other examples to build on that. And whenever I'm just feeling joyful, and regardless of whatever I put in my videos, regardless of what I say, everything comes to me so intuitively. When I'm just joyful, I'm peaceful, I'm in my element, everything just flows to me from outer space, if you will, from the universe, from my true essence, from my source, from our infinite, unlimited source of knowledge, of energy. And I find that everything I do feels so effortless. Great titles come to my mind, and I know exactly what the video is about, and I don't miss out any points. And then I post the video, and it gets so much attention, and it does very good, or even relatively good, whatever. But when I'm in fear, that's how I ask God. That's how I'm asking. When you live in fear, that's basically you asking God to have everything go against you. Everything, no matter how much effort you try to exert. Watch my previous video about how it's not just about taking actions if you wish, after finishing this one. But I think it's very informative, and it could be of much help to you. But anyway, that's basically what you're asking God, and God says yes to whatever you are, to whomever you are. You're asking God to make things not go your way, because that reminds me of how it's now through neuroscience and neuroplasticity, of how when you are in love with yourself, how much it boosts your immune systems. There are plenty of studies and research into this field, and it's not just your immune systems, it's so many other things. I'll just briefly mention this. But when you're really hating yourself, when you're living in fear, and you're depressed. So for example, with depressed people, and you're just cowering in fear in your bed, when you're in that state in which you don't want to get out of bed, and you're just so grumpy, and because you're very stressed and you're worried about 1,000 things, and so everything feels so crippling, you don't want to take any step, and you're just living in fear of your life and what the future might hold. They found out that it drops your immune, not just drops, it actually drops, but more so it starts causing your immune system to work against you. The deeper you are in that self-pity or self-hatred or self-despite, the more your immune system actually starts working against you, and that's autoimmune diseases. And that's how, and even to me, for example, a very close case to my heart is with my mom. She has that, and she knows very well that she has it, because she works against herself, within herself. She's unfulfilled about anything in her life. She's discontent with anything that's going on in life in general, and she's constantly living in fear of what might happen in the future, of how things are going to turn out in the future, of how even my future is going to turn out, or my siblings, or how things. She's just constantly living in stress and fear and anxiety. And that imprinted on her immune system, made it work against her, and she have autoimmune diseases. And that's simply just one example, one indicator of how when you are living against yourself, how when you are internally working against yourself, everything externally, no matter how much effort, is also going to work against you. Because that's like you are praying for things to work against you. When you're constantly worried about the future not going your way, what if I don't do this right? What if this doesn't go my way? What if I'm doing this the wrong way? What if I'm not ready? What if I'm not a vibrational match? What if I'm not aligned with that future? You're actually saying that you're not ready. You're telling God, you're vibrating energetically on the frequency that you are not ready, that you don't want this to happen now, but rather in the future. It's simply a future. It's something that I'm gonna do. It's something that I'm gonna achieve. It's something that's going to happen once I am feeling good, once I'm feeling this, once I'm aligned, once my mind is clear, once I feel, once I get energetic and I start working out, and get my mind clear. That's exactly how this works out. And I observe this very clearly in my life and in the lives of others, many who are close to me, that I observed, that I was able to observe. But that's a great thing, because that tells you that once you understand that life works for you and not against you, you can make anything happen. And that's when you love yourself, when you're in love with life, when you're happy about life, when you're grateful to life. When you're not always thinking, I wish I was in that different reality. I wish this was my life. Perhaps I would be able to create better videos. Perhaps I would be more inspired. Perhaps I would, if I just had that kind of relief, in my external reality, I would do things so much better. I would be very inspired. I would be able to tune into my creative aspect. It's always something that you want. It's always this unfulfillment with your current reality, with your hatred, despite resentfulness towards your current reality. That's what happens when you are in fear. But you could simply overcome that fear by realizing, by understanding that life works for you, not against you, that life is happening for you, not to you, because you are the creator of your reality. And that really empowers you, and that really makes you understand that whatever you're doing, whatever you are experiencing, is serving your grand intention. And no matter what I experience in life, no matter how things turn out, even if it seems to me that it's hurtful or it went against me in a small experience, it's only preparing you for your grand intention. As long as you hold this grand intention in your mind, everything that's happening is gonna keep pushing you towards that. If you don't want to experience all the contrast and all the negativity and all of the the challenging experiences in your life, remove that grand intention from your life. Remove your vision towards the future. Remove your attachment to your connection to your purpose. And it's all gonna dissolve. You're not gonna experience any challenges, any uncomfortable situations, and you're gonna find a semi-stable life, but it's not the one you want. It's not the one you're feeling called to. It's not the one you're being driven to. Because it's your purpose here in life. And so, which do you want? Do you want to overcome those fears by believing that life is working for you, and no matter what's happening, all those things are simply trivial occurrences to lead me towards my grand intention, even if it's something major, even if it's something huge to you now that's causing so much fear and so much, pushing you so much deeper in survival. It's also serving your great purpose. It's serving your grand vision, your grand intention to your future, this deep calling you're experiencing. With that being said, let this be a reminder that everything is happening for you and not to you, and as such you are the creator of your reality. Thank you so much for tuning into another video by AfsConsciousFrequency. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it.